just get you situated here. Ooh. I'm gonna move you back a little bit. I feel like I'm so far away from my desk. I don't like that. Hold on. I feel like I had this worked out a little bit better last time, but I don't know why that is. Why I felt that way. Maybe that's why. So a lot of things going on with these, with the legs of the tripod and the legs of my desk. That's a little bit better. Anyway, all right, Scorpio, all of your cards are shuffled, okay? This is your monthly forecast. This is your love and relationship. This is your career and finances. I'm really gonna go ahead and skip the intro. If you've been here before, you know what we're about to get into. If you haven't, it's really not that deep, okay? You'll follow along. You'll follow along. All right, so we're getting into your month of November. Let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, lots going on here, Scorpio. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. We've got a lot of different energies here. Some, I don't want to say, well, sure, say good and bad. We'll see. All right, current self is Ace of Pentacles. So Scorpio, you're likely starting the month or have started the month either focusing on a new opportunity, maybe a new job or new promotion or new money-making venture was presented to you. The Ace of Pentacles is a new opportunity, something that can grow. This doesn't always have to be monetary or material, but it is usually. It can be a relationship that can grow, for example, something that has potential to grow. Usually it is related to material items, but it can relate to relationships as well. Some of you might even be considering, like, I mean, I know I am with the way our food administration is going, may even be considering growing items yourself, literally growing food. Okay. Theme of the month is Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is defeat, endings, and betrayal. So we'll figure out why that is. Okay. Key goal to pursue is the Four of Cups. This is a really interesting card to suggest because the Four of Cups is one of those passive cards where it represents looking at either the glass half full or the glass half empty. So I feel like Spirit is kind of trying to tell you to look at the bright side here, which is really interesting. Obstacle to overcome is Knight of Cups. So I'm not even gonna lie to you, Scorpio. It feels like we're struggling with a relationship this month. Knight of Cups is water sign energy, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but it can be a romantic interest. Even if let's say you're not dating, let's say there's nobody in your life, the Knight of Cups could be something that you were emotionally excited about, something that you were excited to pursue emotionally. I don't know if that makes sense. Major accomplishment is Wheel of Fortune. So despite all this, by the end of the month, there is some sort of payout for you. Okay, some sort of windfall sometimes with the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune isn't always monetary. Sometimes the Wheel of Fortune is a stroke of luck, a stroke of good fate. So it can be something that you've been wanting, but usually the Wheel of Fortune, it is a little bit of a surprise. It isn't always like, I'm really trying to think about that. I'm like, is it usually expected? I don't think the Wheel of Fortune, in my experience, is expected. It usually is a little bit of a surprise, in my experience. And it could even relate to like things you've been pursuing, but maybe didn't even expect to land. Let's say you've been pursuing a top client or, get somebody's business for a really long time, but then like maybe shoot your shot and you really didn't have high hopes, but then you actually booked them or signed them or something like that. Like sometimes the Wheel of Fortune is like that. Things that you kind of hope happen, but like don't really, put too much into, and then it all comes together. I'm like, I've got like a scab on my elbow. I'm the worst person when it comes to scabs. Like, I can't, like, I feel like, oh, I just need to fucking bother it. And I get obsessed about it. It's so annoying, even though you know it's gonna fucking bleed or whatever. Great. Anyway, I don't know why I just did that. So anyway, let's keep going. What to avoid is the Five of Cups. Whatever is coming to an end, Spirit is telling you to try, and an emphasis on try here, because I think this is going to be difficult. Try not to be depressed about it. Try not to get in your bag about it. Instead, you're meant to soldier on, embrace 10 of Wands, responsibilities, dedication, hard work. Now, let me not scare you. Whenever I do these readings, I think about people in my actual life. And I think about how could these readings apply to people in my life? Because I, hate to, the Scorpios in my life, I would hate to like claim that, oh, they're gonna, be breaking up with their person. That's not always the reading. So for example, someone I know in my life is a Scorpio, and her son, I believe her son is a Pisces, Knight of Cups. And I know she talked to me about this a couple months ago. She told me that her son enlisted in the Navy or something. And she was like, they could take him at any moment. Like they could just say, hey, time for him to go. And he could be enlisted. So, I mean, and she was really like, she's really upset about that. So not like angry, but she's like, because her son is grown, but she's like, damn, like I really could be losing my kid. And that is just an example of how this could be manifested. I just want to give you an alternative way to think about some of these things of like, theme of the month endings with like, having her son with her and like grieving that, kind of like going through empty nest a little bit. I'm just trying to give you an alternative, okay, Scorpio? So I don't want you to immediately go to, I want to invite you to consider how else these things might play out. Okay. But it seems like you've got a lot on your plate still. So you don't really have the time to like be sad. You really got to get to focus on other things as well. Advice and encouragement, where to find support is the Nine of Pentacles. This is independence, money, like entrepreneurship even. And advice and encouragement is the High Priestess. Trust your intuition. Okay. Especially near the end of the month. Whenever I always look at these two together, and we've got the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune. So near the end of the month, really lean into those intuitive decisions, those intuitive nudges. All right, let's see what I want to clarify here. I don't know why I finally did this today. Like when I'm recording like this, it's really hard for me to turn around and grab my decks because the tripod is in the way of my desk chair. So I don't have much room between my bookshelf behind me and my desk chair. So I finally just like took one of my cubbies and just moved it over to the side and just put the decks that I use most often during these readings over here. So I don't know. That just made a lot more sense. I don't know why the fuck I waited till today. I don't know. Sometimes we just need to give ourselves time to have new ideas, right? Okay, look, despair coming out. You're really sad, Scorpio. What's going on? Okay. I want to know why. Why is 10 of Swords here? Clarify theme of the month for Scorpio, please. Yeah, child. See what I'm about? I knew that was going to come out. I knew. Now maybe you don't have children, Scorpio. Maybe you don't have children. Now in my cousin's case, or excuse me, well now you know it's my cousin, but in the person I know, in their case, it makes sense. But sometimes the child card could represent, it could also represent something new that you were wanting to pursue. Like it represents innocence, purity, something that was untainted that maybe you're either having to let go of or that's coming to an end in some way. Potentially, this is a reach, but potentially some of you guys might be, I said this to another sign too, might have experienced a miscarriage or the loss of a child in some way. It feels like the loss of, if not a child, the loss of something that was premature. Does that make sense to you, Scorpio? The loss of something that was premature. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to actually pull a card from the Healing Heart Journey for this on Key Goals to Pursue, because the Four of Cups is here. So I'm like, what is the advice here? for Scorpio. Yeah, shedding. Getting rid of the old, embracing the new, into your power. So like you just kind of had to let yourself, you do need to let yourself grieve, but you can't stay there, Scorpio. Like this isn't going to be the happiest month. Okay. It's going to be a little sad. Be a little sad. Clarify the Knight of Cups and why this is an obstacle, please, for Scorpio. False person. Interesting. Now, some of you guys may be dealing with somebody who's fake. You know, when I get these clarification cards, I want to invite you to look at these in different ways. For some of you, maybe the water sign, you know, analogy connects, or the love interest card. But when we have the false person card, that might not apply to everyone. So, but for some people, that might make a lot more sense. Some people might see them and be like, yeah, maybe even just fucking redhead. The redhead might even make sense. Oh yeah, I know exactly who this is. You know, when you see this. But when I see the false person card, it's not always, as I've worked with this deck more often, it's not always that you're dealing with somebody with ill intentions or somebody who's fake. Sometimes it is representative of somebody who is in character. Some of you guys might be dealing with an actor, you know? Somebody who plays dress up is sometimes how I've come to interpret that card, right? Anything else about obstacle to overcome for Scorpio? Family room, this could be in relation to somebody in your family or somebody maybe you live quarters with, okay? Very close connections are what seem to be the struggle for you this month. Okay, my scab stopped bleeding, but of course I want to pick the rest of it and I need to stop. Okay. All right, let's clarify this this Wheel of Fortune. What is your Wheel of Fortune moment this month? Three of Cups, gathering with family. I mean, Thanksgiving is literally at the end of the month. So getting together with friends and family might be like a really good vibe for you. Sorry, I zoned out there for a second, Scorpio. Okay, so getting together with friends and family. I mean, you didn't even need to tell you that, but maybe this is particularly important to you. Maybe you might be seeing people that you haven't seen in a while. Maybe you didn't expect to see. Let's clarify. Pathway. Taking the back roads is kind of what is coming through here. I always like to pay attention to the butterflies as well. Butterflies represent transformation. You're being guided. You're being guided to reconnect with certain people, okay? I feel that the end of the Mercury retrograde will be kind to you. Okay, what to avoid? For me, this is really clear. I don't think I need to clarify this. Really try your hardest to not stay, like, I'm always a big fan of like, process your emotions, feel what you feel, but you've got to figure out how not to stay there. Something I've been inviting myself to do is not needing a solution or not needing to know what's next all the time. I'm a very, with me being a fire sign, most fire signs are very action oriented. They want to know what to do next. And this is oftentimes why a lot of fire signs clash with water signs because, and I'm saying this, I have a lot of water sign placements, so I'm not hating on my water signs. But this is why oftentimes fire signs clash with water signs because water signs often stay here. They just stay down in the dumps and they like to kind of ruminate on woe is me. And fire signs are not like that. Fire signs are like, this is fucked up. I acknowledge this is fucked up, but what's next? And I have a tendency to do that. And I think in my growth, I'm learning to just stay here a little longer without forcing myself to have an exit strategy or a game plan. I'm not saying that the game plan doesn't come together because I certainly don't stay here, but I think I put too much pressure on myself sometimes of needing to figure out how to move out of these emotions as quickly as possible, and just not really letting myself be sad or not letting myself be, upset about something. So that's why I'm saying feel what you feel, but don't stay there. All right, why do we have so much responsibility on our plate? What to embrace? 10 of Wands. Why is there so much responsibility? Mom energy, Empress. Okay. If any of you guys are relating to that message about the child, and like maybe you're, having a kid going off to college or something like that, or maybe even your child is like going to live with their other parent. The Empress here is like, you might feel like you have a lot of responsibility to kind of help prepare them. Now, the Empress is also representative of birthing something new. So some of you may be in a space where, like, going back to the child and pure, something that's premature, maybe you have a lot of work to do. Maybe I said entrepreneurial. Maybe you guys are trying to get something off the ground. Maybe even trying to pivot. This is pivot season. I think about this a lot with where we are in our economy right now. I was, I don't know, maybe I was like 16 or something like that during the 2008, recession and housing crisis. And those were really rough times. Like really nobody had, some people made it through, but I always think about that because there's a lot of businesses that didn't make it, but there's a lot of businesses that did. And something that I think about as a business owner, I think about, what will my story be? Am I going to be somebody who makes it through? Or am I going to be, because I'm affected too by this, to be very completely honest, psychic readings are not quite essential. I don't know that I would call myself recession proof. Do I give people hope? Sure. But I don't think that I would consider myself recession proof. So, when people are tightening their belts, I'm part of that. People don't have disposable income to pay for readings. They kind of take it one day at a time, right? I would be doing the same if I were in their position. So I think about that and I'm like, okay, well, what's my legacy going to be? Am I going to like cash in my chips, or am I really going to go down swinging? I think about that a lot. And so I wonder if you're in a similar space, Scorpio, where you've tried to get something off the ground, and that's why maybe we have some sort of ending here. Something's not working, but now you're working on building something new so that you can stay the course. Does that make sense? Let's clarify what this 9 of Pentacles is for you. What is this? We got strength, pushing through. I was just talking about it. Person not giving up, pushing through. Whatever work you do, you're doubling down. You're doubling down. And let's clarify this High Priestess, please, for Scorpio. Tower. Upheaval, change, chaos. I don't think this is so negative, to be honest. A lot of people look at the Tower as, oh no. But considering how it didn't really come up in your spread, and it's just to clarify the Priestess, I just think that you need to navigate all of this change, this massive change and upheaval, with your intuition. Maybe doing what's logical is not what's going to serve you best right now. Does that make sense? Sometimes also the Tower, as I've worked with this more, I look at the Tower in the Street Priestess Tarot, the 10 of Pentacles as well, as like your house, your physical home. So maybe you got some intuitive decisions to make around your home. Okay. Now let's clarify this. All right. So give me a second to clear the deck here. All right. Let's just kind of summarize real quick. All right. So current self, maybe focused on growing something new, considering an offer, considering maybe pursuing new jobs even, focused on growing something new. That could be a relationship, that could be an opportunity, that could be a promotion, that could be a job, okay? However, theme of the month is endings, betrayals, losses, defeat, something that's coming to an end, but you're not really quite happy about it. You've done all you can do, right? And key goal to pursue is to look at the glass half full, not half empty. Sure, this is disappointing, but what do you still have? What is still around you? Sometimes too, in the original 4 of Cups, this is an interpretation that let me show it to you, seen, is that with the 4 of Cups, the person is like not accepting what's in front of them. And in a way, I've seen other decks clarify that as luxury. Like, wow, you have the luxury to decline something. You know, you don't have to take what's being given to you. But sometimes I've read or heard the Four of Cups interpreted as waiting for a better offer. And I wonder if that is what you're doing. Here it is. Okay, this is the same card. Look, with the Nine of Wands behind it. Strength, wherever that was. Strength. Okay, Nine of Wands. Persevere. Okay, anyway. All right, so you see how he's got 3 cups and he's content with that, sort of. But 1 cup is being offered to him, but he's not taking it. Sometimes this is a message of like, maybe you're waiting for a better offer. You're waiting for something better. I wonder if that is what Spirit is advising you to do. Consider that for yourself. Hold on, Scorpio. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what comes up in your career and finance reading, because this could be an interpretation of, okay, Scorpio, key goal to pursue is, you know, commit to your worth and your value and don't settle by taking whatever's offered to you just because times are hard, right? I don't mean to put that in quotes. Times are literally hard, but that's also relative, person to person. I wonder though, if sometimes this message, the Four of Cups, is also a message of like, be careful not to be, you know, in kind of like the grass is always greener mode. It's like, if you're always looking at what somebody else has, you're never grateful for what you do have, right? So I wonder if there's a message here too of like, you know, be careful to not be ungrateful for what is still happening, what you still have in your life. I wonder. Did I pull a Kipper deck on this? I didn't. Is there anything else here? Ooh. For Scorpio, 4 of Cups, unexpected income. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I mean, again, that kind of, for me, is the Wheel of Fortune. We're going to see. I'm going to pause here and I'm going to see what comes up in your career and finances. I'm not going to try to overinterpret it right now, but let's keep moving. So, obstacle to overcome is Knight of Cups, potentially a water sign, but also it could be either like a sort of Romeo, if you will, or love interest, major that you need to kind of like contend with. Major accomplishment is Wheel of Fortune, so we do have some sort of blessing lining up for you by the end of the month. Try not to stay in, you know, depression or sadness for too long, because you do have some responsibilities that need your attention. Do embrace, you know, your career, your financial endeavors. Like, I think that is a good distraction for you this month, and trust your intuition, especially near the end of the month as things start to come together. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for your monthly forecast. Let's go ahead and move on to your love and relationships. Here we go. All right, so we're looking into what to expect, the unexpected, and theme of the month. Interesting. All right, let's see what we get out of Romance Angels. Scorpio, please, November 2025. Okay. Scorpio, please, November 2025. Okay. All right, so I think things are going well, but Spirit is giving you some warning signs, okay? If you're in a committed relationship. If you are single, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about how to interpret this message. If you're single, like if there's no love interest in your life right now, it could be that someone comes and surprises you out of nowhere, but I'm hesitant to confirm. Let's go ahead and just get started with where we are, okay? Current self is the Star and the Ace of Cups reversed. The Star does represent Aquarius energy in case an Aquarius is important to you. The Ace of Cups is typically about a new love, new emotions, a new cup to be filled, if you will. When it is reversed, often the Ace of Cups reverse, along with the Two of Cups that we don't have, but I'm just mentioning it anyway. Two of Cups reverse can represent, you know, loving yourself, self-love. So maybe, and especially with the Star upright, which is often connected to rejuvenation, rebirth, and kind of like healing, you may be recovering from something this month. Okay, maybe you had something that didn't go quite how you wanted or how you expected. And so, you know, you're just kind of focusing on yourself and recovering and healing. I am also getting something about physical healing as well. Maybe you or your person is working on physically healing themselves and trying to just kind of nourish themselves back to health. So if any of you are single and not dating, I think you're just focusing on yourself this month. I don't blame you. The unexpected here is the Five of Wands reversed. So Five of Wands is typically competition and conflict in this deck as it's depicted. Obviously somebody who is forcing or, you know, threatening to leave. When it is reversed, those tensions are simmered down and we have the Sun, which is happiness, joy, and clarity. So if you were struggling with anybody recently, it seems that you will find a way through this month. You will kind of like figure out how to stop fighting with each other. Now, some of you may just bow out altogether. If you're dealing with somebody toxic or frustrating or who's a horrible communicator, you may decide for yourself, you know what, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to put myself in this situation. I'm going to back the fuck out and just focus on what makes me happy. There's a real emphasis on like doing what makes you happy this month, Scorpio. Wanting to put your happiness first. Okay? Do you have anything to add to this, Spirit? The unexpected for Scorpio, please. Four of Pentacles, yeah. You're reclaiming your time. You know, taking back your energy, the Four of Pentacles. It might even be that somebody pulls away from you, okay? I think this is a good time to focus on this card, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Now, you might be, I don't know what your situation is, but maybe you're going into the month of November feeling great, feeling easy breezy, right? And you're like, my love life is great. Fuck what you're talking about, Whitney. But again, maybe this is unexpected. And so this card is mainly about, it's not about, oh, you know, the red flags, abort, abort. It's usually like, hey, recognize that you don't like these characteristics and like address them. Don't just let them simmer because, you know, that's not healthy. So you may be realizing some things about somebody you've been dating or even somebody that you're married to because people change, remember? So you may even just kind of be noticing, they weren't always like this and they, you know, they're starting to change and I wonder why. And you may decide to just pull your energy back from somebody this month. Or like I said, vice versa. But to me, it will be for your happiness. The only other way that this could be interpreted is for children. you know, simply because the sun does connect to children. So maybe, I don't know, I'm just going to try to interpret this for a lot of different people. There's a chance that like if you're going through any custody battle, or even just like some sort of separation, I've seen this happen a lot of times. Parents will threaten or try to control with the kids. Oh no, you can't see your kid because you didn't pay me, da 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 da. And so you use the tool, you use your child as a weapon, which I think is unfair, but I've never been in that position, so I don't know. But that kind of might be the thing here. Some of you may even decide that if you have children, you may even decide, you know what, I'm not gonna play with this person no more. I'm tired of arguing with this person, and I'm just gonna make the executive decision that they're not gonna see their child anymore because they play too much. You know, that could just be a message here. Like, you may and now I do understand that a lot of parents do that to protect their child. I hear a lot of mothers say, you know what, I've had to make the decision to kind of, you know, stop letting my child see them because it gets their hopes up. And that I do understand. If you have a parent that is, I often see it in the dynamic of the mother is, you know, kind of keeping their child away from the father because the father is unstable, or, you know, say they're going to spend time with them but don't, they're flaky. I often see that narrative. I do know the other side exists, so I'm not trying to diminish that, but it's often, you know, that way. And so some women will just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to let you see your kid because you can't keep, it breaks my heart to see my child disappointed when you said you were going to show up and you don't. So Scorpio, you may be making the decision to say, you know what, no more. No more. I'm going to just kind of keep, you know, we're going to keep to ourselves. You know? I don't know. That's the message that's coming through here. Let me know if that's connecting, Scorpio. All right. So I also like only know one of you that are Scorpio. So if I have more than one Scorpio, you know, subscriber, please let me know. Please let me know. Because I don't know, you know, what your situations are and like how many of you guys are here. So just let me know. So I kind of know like what's going on with you guys. So I can really kind of really break down these readings and how they might relate to you. I know they're kind of collectives, but I only do these for my subscribers. So let me know, my paid subscribers. All right, so theme of the month, Page of Cups. Again, child energy. Page of Cups is very like immature, somebody who's very sensitive, somebody who's emotional. Water sign energy, again, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. The Page of Cups represents a happy surprise a lot of times. The Four of Wands is domestic harmony. It's also celebrations as well. Okay, so think weddings, think cookouts, think graduations, those sorts of things. Coming together, family reunions even. Six of Cups reversed, stuck in the past. Okay, you see she's reflecting on, you know, this card is about reflection and thinking about the past. And then we have the Fool reversed, afraid to make a fresh start, afraid to take the leap of faith, holding back with that reversed. So it's really interesting here. To me, it's giving like somebody that is afraid to move on, and potentially somebody who wants to give someone another chance, even after maybe a series of disappointments. They're not quite ready emotionally to fully move on. Or maybe some of you may have thought that you were ready, like, you know what, fuck this person, or fuck, you know, wanting to eliminate the patterns that you have in place, but then somebody kind of pulls you back in. That could be a message as well. Let's talk about these cards. Yeah. All right, we got retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. Now, when I see this card, I see it a couple different ways. It can represent retreat as in like, hey, it's time to back out. It is time to like leave this person behind, you know, kind of like the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands and retreat would be very similar. Like, hey, it's time to stop fighting and just kind of like call it quits. But as you will notice, the imagery is a couple getting married, of what looks like, you know, about to go on their honeymoon. Now, I've seen this in different readings for people who just simply travel, even if it's not even a far distance. Maybe Scorpio, you're about to travel and take like a vacation, even if it's like a small little weekend trip. I don't really see that in this reading, but I'm just giving it to you just in case. And we have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. If I'm honest, Scorpio, I know I'm giving you a lot of ways that these cards can be interpreted. And I know it's a lot of you. If I'm honest, you're starting the month of of November. Maybe September is relevant. I don't know. I didn't mean to say that, but maybe something happened in September that is significant in your love life. I mean, that was eclipse season, and eclipse season was rough. Maybe you're going into November expecting to keep to yourself, heal yourself, work on yourself. But really, you end up kind of, I don't want to say getting back together, but I want to say getting back together with somebody, and you find a way through. You find a way to make it work. That's what I'm getting. That might not be everybody's story, but it's feeling like you find a way to make it work. But you weren't planning for this. This is why it's a surprise. You were trying to keep to yourself and heal and go on your eat, pray, love journey. You had the Amazon books in the cart, okay? You were about to do deep self-care, deep personal development, which I think you should still do. But then kind of you and this person kind of reconnect. I mean, it is Mercury retrograde, so not surprised, really, but just be open. Be open. I would say stay true to your plan, focus on yourself, and see how this month unfolds, okay? See how this month unfolds. Let's get one card from the Whispers of Love deck just to see any final messages for Scorpio for the month of November 2025. These cards are so huge, like it's not even funny. Like it's really, you see how me trying to shuffle this literally like takes my whole fucking hand. And my hands are pretty big, guys. Just being honest. My hands are pretty big, but for those of you who've never met me in real life, I'm 5'9", so like I'm a large woman. All right. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. What do you have for Scorpio in November 2025? Be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. I don't see that card often. That's interesting. Anything else? Okay, yes. Just this one. Back to what you love. Reevaluate your desires. That's interesting. I'm not even going to read the guidebook messages. I'm just going to let these kind of resonate with you. Okay? Speak the language of love. Back to what you love. And ain't that interesting? Back to what you love. Get like again. And then be supportive. Make genuine effort to show you care. I will say, if that is your story this month, Scorpio, where like somebody comes back into the picture, try to listen to their lived experience without being selfish, because you might be like, well, that's great that you, but I was going through XYZ and where were you? Like, try to have empathy for what this other person was going through and why they might have pulled away to begin with. Okay? I don't know your situation, but I'm just throwing that out there. Okay? Just throwing that out there. Wait, that didn't sound really good. Just throwing that out there. Did I just change the octave? I don't know. Okay. Let's move on to your... Oh, you know what I didn't do? Let's do it before I move on to your... Before I move on to your career and finances. I didn't pick your oracle card. Let's do that real quick. I was just so eager to get started. Let's do that. All right, first, let's get your career finance cards here. And I'm using crystal spirits this month. I really do like these messages. I just don't I just don't know them that well, which is fine. I kind of prefer it that way. Okay, what do you have for Scorpio? Just one card, please. Oracle message for the month of November 2025. Scorpio, please. November 2025. Okay. I guess I'll take this one. We'll read that at the end, babe. All right, so here we go. Let's look at your career and finances. What to expect. The unexpected. Theme of the month. Wow. A lot of reversals here. And the Empress is here again. Any other repeating cards? No, not any other repeating cards. I do like the Ten of Wands is here again. That for me reconfirms the Wheel of Fortune. So some sort of payout, some sort of monetary gain, some sort of come up. What do you have for Scorpio, please? Scorpio, November 2025. Ooh. Student, what else do you have for Scorpio, November 2025? Okay, and then we have loss. Interesting. But I mean, I'm not surprised considering how we had the Ten of Swords, the Five of Cups. Child, you were going through it. I just don't know that you're going through it monetarily. Maybe you are, but I just don't think that's the vibe here. It feels much more like relational loss. Maybe even loss of a home. I don't know with this imagery here. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Let's go. You know what? Let me see what that fucking... This is so dumb, but I'm going to look it up anyway. I was just watching the news and like the coach of the Miami Heat, his house is on fire in Miami. I wonder what his zodiac sign is. Eric, this is so dumb, but let's confirm my theories. Bull, Lestra birthday. He's a Scorpio. I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. Like, well, I think it's funny because I learned who this man is today. Literally today, of Eric's Balestra, because his house is on fire in Miami. And I was like, oh, it might be the loss of a house. And I was like, for shits and giggles, let's see what his birthday is. His birthday is November 1st, 1970. I swear to God, I was today years old. And that's why I think like the synchronicities are so funny. First of all, if you're going through a loss of a home, I'm really sorry. I hope that is not your situation. And even as I was watching it on TV, I was like, damn, I wonder if he has, house insurance. Is his insurance going to pay for this? I was like, I don't even know why his house is on fire. Some sort of issue with your house. I wonder. I don't know. Let me know. Okay, let's look. So what to expect? King of Swords reverse, Ace of Wands. King of Swords is air sign energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. When it is reversed, sometimes it can represent not feeling like you know what to do, feeling confused, not thinking clearly. Ace of Wands is a new passion. It is often connected to new projects, sometimes even new relationships or new flings, but something that you're really excited to get started. But with it being next to the King of Swords, either you're working with somebody that is difficult to work with. Maybe you guys clash a little bit. Maybe their communication is off, or this is representative of you, of kind of not knowing where to start. Excited for the journey, but not really knowing where to start. Does that make sense? So this is where you are. Maybe even maybe it's even that you know that you're starting a new job, but you haven't started yet. That could be the vibe. Sometimes Ace of Wands can represent a new job. Definitely. The unexpected is Two of Cups reverse and Two of Pentacles reverse. Let's look at this upright. Two of Pentacles is balancing your finances, balancing your priorities and your time. Two of Cups is partnerships, unions, usually relationships. Okay. This could be romantic, but it could also be platonic or professional. Now, let's look at this planner card because that for me is what it feels related to. Pay attention to detail and create a plan to grow your business or personal finances. Careers in event planning, project management, or professional organizing could be for you. This is a great time to take a financial inventory and see what needs changing. This might be something you're doing with your partner if you are in a committed relationship. Maybe you're doing this with a financial planner, but you realize, okay, you know what? I need to reorganize my finances because this is not working. Might not be something that you expect to do this month unexpectedly. May even be forced to do this month. Let's look at the theme of the month. We have the Empress card here reversed. A lot of times the Empress, when she's reversed, she's clinging on. Of course, she's a mother. She's nurturing. She's creating something new. She's holding on. Okay. The Hierophant, typically related to Taurus energy and spiritual teachers, spiritual advisement, also religion and organizations. When it's reversed, it's being unconventional, doing something your own way. We do have the Judgment reversed. The Judgment, 3 major arcana cards reversed. I really want you to be kind of paying attention to your thoughts and emotions because it seems that you're resisting change this month. I mean, you're a fixed sign, so I'm not surprised. But the Judgment card is advancement, growth, leveling up, an awakening, soul evolution. When it is reversed, you're neglecting the call. You're not embracing change. And all of it is next to the Ten of Pentacles upright. So this is really seeming to affect your family, your legacy, your well-being. Not your well-being, but sure, it slipped out, so sure, your well-being. Your legacy is usually what the Ten of Pentacles is related to. Now, just sometimes just on in general, the Ten of Pentacles relates to wealth and abundance. But it is often associated with family and legacy or your home. So I want to invite you, Scorpio, this month when it relates to your career and finances, to abandon the path that you were on. Maybe not, abandon is a strong word. I want to invite you to be open to a new path that you hadn't considered before in terms of growing your wealth and abundance and your legacy. Because I think you were on a path and things were going really great and it's like boom, 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 everything's happening the way I needed to. But now some shit has changed. Something has happened. We've had some sort of loss this month. And now you're being called to course correct, but you're a little hesitant from what I see. All right, so expect some, what is this? I'm trying to look at what that is. I'm is that a plushie? Hold on. It looks like a plushie to me. To me, it looks like a plushie. Like a little dog plushie or something. What else it could possibly be. All right. There's a chair. There's what else? Okay, expect some financial turmoil in the near future. A job loss could make it difficult to keep control of your money. You will have to work really hard to make ends meet. Those bullets may not, relate to you at all, but we've got some sort of loss this month. Okay. Student, work with a mentor to learn new skills to teach you how to implement your plans. You could be in school to pursue higher education or work for a school district. Teach yourself to succeed with money or get a financial advisor to teach you. It kind of feels like you were gearing up for a fresh start anyway, but something a wrench has truly been thrown to adjust, but it couldn't have been worse timing. But is there ever really good timing for things like this? You know what I mean? It's like you were already geared up for a fresh start, a new change, and now you're having to completely figure out how to pivot, and it's just really annoying because you didn't want to pivot, you didn't plan to pivot. Very frustrating for you. Very, very frustrating. I get it. Let's look at your oracle message, Lemurian Quartz. What is it, 31? I'm going to hold it here so you can read it if you'd like to. I'm only going to read the general message, but if you'd like to read the whole message, here it is. Okay, here we go. Vision, big picture thinking, unlocking the secrets of infinite possibility. Your ability to imagine something bigger and better and draw in what you in order to heal, feel a sense of well-being, interesting that word well-being again, feel a sense of well-being and step into your power as a co-creator is greater than you think. The message of Lemurian Quartz Spirit is that now is a time to free yourself to dream big. What do you see for yourself? How do you picture yourself in this future? What kind of person have you evolved into as you strive to fully embrace and enjoy your life? On this healing journey, you are called to keep your eye on the bigger picture of your experience so that you recognize your struggles as leading you to epiphanies, allies, and inner wisdom born of lived experience. Lemurian Quartz Spirit reminds you that the capacity to unlock the wisdom of the stars is within you. Just open your connection to the conscious universe and allow your imagination to soar. Very soon, a powerful vision of what is ahead for you will become clear. I think this really connects back to the High Priestess card. The capacity to unlock the wisdom of the stars is within you. Just open your connection to conscious universe and allow your imagination to soar. I also think this is connecting to the Hierophant reverse as well. It's like, how can you dream big? How can you be maybe not unconventional, but for me, it will require being unconventional to dream big. You know, not being confined or not conforming to what everyone else has done. I also think that some sort of loss is allowing you to create something new. You know? It might sound fucked up, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. And that's not why you subscribe to me, right? You don't subscribe for me. You don't subscribe to me to tell you what you want to hear. That's not what I do over here. What I do over here is prepare you so that when shit hits the fan, you were like, boom, my psychic already told me what was going to happen and now I'm ready to go. You know? That's what we do over here. All right, Scorpio, I hope this was helpful. I love you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop this live. I love you. I hope you have a great November. Happy birthday. And enjoy the rest of the year.